Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care, Santa Clarita Hearing Center, and Traditions Healthcare Hospice. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life, our one and only Dr. Thomas Pilecki is on. Good morning,
Yeah,
Dr.
but
Pilecki. How are you?
good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. For the first time, I think ever, I'm not in the studio because I wasn't scheduled to come on, but I heard that you wanted me in before I was scheduled, so I'm happy to be there at least on the phone.
That's
Yes,
very
thank you.
unusual.
Happy New Year, and thank you. Thank you for coming in, Thomas. We appreciate it.
I'm not used to talking to
Absolutely.
you on the telephone.
I know. Absolutely. Happy New Year, everybody.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. So
Thank
I'm
you.
sure there's a lot to talk about. I'm only going to be here for about half an hour, so I'd really like to jump right in and share my 5 simple rules to help make 2021 absolutely better than 2020.
No kidding.
For all of our listeners, and that's help prevent disease. More importantly, get the most out of life. But before I do that, people should know my background and where I'm coming from and why I'm making these recommendations. I grew up in a medical family, was testing for Johns Hopkins at 16. By that time, I was already on 5 prescription medications and had 3 surgeries. And then someone who we didn't even consider a real doctor, a chiropractor, actually got me healthier than I had been in my entire life. And I not only walked away from Johns Hopkins, but I wound up teaching at 2 chiropractic schools, have 3 advanced certifications in functional medicine, and I'm the national director for over 300 functional medicine practitioners in America. And we focus on simple, affordable, and effective approaches towards getting what people really want out of healthcare, and that is to have their health on a level that doesn't require constant medications, constant trips to the doctor, especially now. People are holding off, even when they're critically ill, of going to the hospital, and sometimes they try to go to the hospital and they're turned away because of this COVID. My job is to make sure that you never have to be put in that position or reduce your risks tremendously by simple, affordable, and effective methods.
Go for it. What's number 1?
Okay, so my 5 simple rules. Number 1, health is mostly an inside job. Think about this for a second. Now, I know probably half the audience is women. I don't know, maybe more than that. I don't know the exact demographics of this show, but let's say half the audience is women. Men will know what I'm talking about. So when you first started shaving, you probably weren't too good at it, and you probably nicked yourself quite a bit. And the old school remedy was to put a piece of toilet paper on that cut that you got shaving when you really didn't know how, and within 15, 20 minutes, you'd take the toilet paper off and the cut would be healed, right? But was it the toilet paper that made the healing happen, or was it more something inside your body? And my contention is that it absolutely had to be something inside your body. It wasn't the toilet paper that healed that cut, because if it was the toilet paper, nobody would have hemorrhoids. So health is an inside job. That's what I'm saying. And the second point is that it has to be something simple and consistent. And when I say consistent, if you write down anything on your calendar, make it a verb, make it an action, make it a to-do point. keep it as simple as possible. I use this anagram because I love it so much. It's called the KISS test. And some people know where I'm going with this, and some people may be surprised at what I'm actually going to say. When I first heard this, I was shown a beautiful, beautiful explanation of the KISS test. And it really is the KISS test. So for people who are in the dating scene, I know that may happen in the senior community. There's a simple challenge to see. You know, a dating can be very awkward, and especially that first date. At the end of the night, you walk her. I'm obviously going to say it from the man's point of view. Walk her up to the door, and you're awkward and not sure. Should you kiss her? Should you not kiss her? Does she want you to kiss her or not? And this was beautifully explained. There's a simple test. If you gently and slowly and carefully put your hand right behind her right ear, just gently reach up and maybe brush the hair away from her right ear. If she leans into your hand, you can kiss her. And if she doesn't, if she pulls back or pulls away or definitely shows that she's uncomfortable in any way, you know that you should not move any further. So that was my first exposure to what we call the KISS test. Now, that anagram is keep it simple. Keep it short and simple. And if you can apply that technology to your health, keep simple things consistent and just do them, you're going to be so far ahead of people who are just waiting in fear for the next emergency to arrive. And number 3 is focus on function. I just started running again for the first time in 3 decades. And I'm telling you right now, in my mid-50s, I'm a much better runner with less aches and pains than I have been in the past 20-plus years. And I realized what had been missing all that time. And it came to me on my third run. My first run, within running around the block, I'd be out of breath. I'd be hurting. It would not be any good for me, any fun at all. And then on my second run, same thing. No improvement at all, except I was starting to get a groove, starting to get a rhythm, starting to feel my body during the process, starting to focus on my breathing, starting to focus on where tension was in my body, starting to focus on the experience, the function of what was going on, instead of thinking about, oh, I'm going to try to get a mile today, or, oh, I'm going to try and get a mile in a certain time. Instead of being goal-oriented, instead of thinking about some kind of outcome or test result, I was focusing on what was really going on with me, and all of a sudden, everything just shifted. My breathing became much deeper and easier. My tension dropped out of my shoulders, and I was starting to move much more loosely. The run looked more like a dance than it did like a march, like a military march, which was what I was used to. And all of a sudden, I wasn't out of breath at a mile, or at 2, or at 3, or at 4. My legs weren't tightening up. My shoulders weren't bunching up. And I just started relaxing and really enjoying running. And for the first time in over 30 years, I'm running 5 miles without, I know for a fact I could do a marathon if I chose to do so without any like weeks of recovery, which it would have taken at any other point in my lifetime. So focus on function. Keep it simple. It's an inside job. And the last 2 points are, how are we doing on time? Are we okay? My clock says we still have a little bit of time for this. I've got
yes.
2 more gems.
You do.
2 more gems before I have to go see some patients. So here's as critically as important as the physical and side of health. The mental, the emotional, the spiritual, if you will, I believe constantly needs rehabilitation in this day and age, regardless of whether it's your physical body, your mental health, your emotional health or your spiritual well-being, if you're okay with that concept, I believe that whatever you focus on, you get more of. And if you're focusing on fear, if you're focusing on things that you have no control over, you're going to constantly be stressing yourself out, and that manifests in your body in ways that you don't want. The more you think about anything, the more it's going to show up in your life. So why not take the time a little bit every day to focus on the things that are really important to you, to focus on the answers, not so much the problem solving. And this was my biggest challenge. As I always was focusing on problem solving, and the problem with problem solving is the problem. You have to focus on the problem in order to try to work through to the solution. And that is where a lot of people get hung up in the problem, and they can never see the solution from the problem. So, simple shortcut, cut to the chase, simple shortcut is act as if, be grateful for the end, the goal that you're looking for. Act as if you're already as healthy as you want to be. Act as if you're already sleeping through the night with high energy, with no irritability, being able to talk to people without worrying about how they're perceiving you, or just moving through your life in a flow instead of a constant challenge. These are the things that unfortunately get put way to the back because we're not practicing them. We're not concentrating on them, or at least I'm not. I should say I'm not. And to shift gears into what you focus on and really condition yourself as to when you're doing that run, or maybe for this audience, that walk. Focus on what you're so grateful for in, wow, I slept better and I feel better, and I don't have as many problems with my digestion, and I'm really grateful for all the people in my life. I'm really grateful for the way I feel right now, and I'm just keep focusing on the good things, because unfortunately there's so much negativity out there right now, and you really almost at some point have to say, I'm just going to change the channel. I'm not going to let this negativity poison my mind, poison my emotions, poison my spiritual well-being. I'm going to make the choice to focus and recondition or rehabilitate my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. The last thing is you got to be able to fuel that process. The fifth simple rule is you are constantly fueling some process in your body. And there are some pretty basic rules about whether you're fueling disease and pain and bad thought processes, or you're fueling more energy, better sleep, better digestion, less inflammation, feeling better physically, mentally, and spiritually. And that, a lot of it, the first doctor, the father of modern medicine, let food be thy medicine. And we are finally coming around 2,500 years later to really start to appreciate how powerful that saying was, that really the food that you eat can totally transform your health. Now, I like to keep it simple, and if anybody in the audience would like some help with any aspect of what I was just talking about, where you don't even have to come into the office, it's not a sales presentation or anything, I'm giving this away for free. Anybody who sends me an email at my email address, which is drpolucki.com. So that's Dr. P at drpolucki.com. Just shoot me an email and what your biggest health challenge is, and we'll see what area I can send you the most simplest and most effective natural solution. No obligation. I'm not going to try to get some sales presentation in there. It's just free information to you to show you what functional medicine can do in your life.
Wow, that sounds very interesting.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very
well,
good.
all 5 of those things that you pointed out means living.
Yeah.
Living.
Yeah, that's the point, right?
Living
living.
better.
Being positive.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Not being negative. I don't understand people being so negative. It's like, the cup is half full. My cup's always half full. Theirs is always half empty.
And one of the things that you want to do is, one of the first things you want to do is turn off the TV news.
Yeah. I used to believe that I wasn't informed unless I watched the news. And now I believe that I'm only misinformed if I watch the news. There has been a radical shift, very polarizing, very negative shift in all the media, and I just don't think it's healthy.
It's not.
There is so much better things to be doing with your time.
Well, you know what I did through the Christmas holidays? I went on the Hallmark Channel and I recorded all of the Christmas movies.
Oh.
And when I sit down in the evening at 8 o'clock, I turn on a Christmas movie. And they are,
I love that.
They're so refreshing because everything ends up on a good note 99% of the time. And those movies are just wonderful. And probably they'll be around next year. But by the time next year comes, I will have forgotten all about them, that I watched them this year.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you get older. Your mind kind of slips a little bit.
There you go.
But doing that, and I've been doing jigsaw puzzles. I'm on my 68th.
What number?
68.
68.
Yes. And
Wow.
that keeps my mind very active because I'm constantly looking for pieces that fit in certain places. So, and several people have said to me, well, how boring. And I'm thinking, what? Nothing's boring about doing a jigsaw puzzle. It's a challenge. At least to me it is.
Right.
It's a challenge.
Yep. Good for you, Barb.
But to fit into what I was talking about, it's a fun challenge. It's a solution-oriented challenge. Instead of saying, "Oh, all this mess. How am I supposed to? I don't even know if these pieces are going to fit. I don't know how these pieces are going to fit together. I'm wasting my time with it." Instead, you're having fun solving the problem, which is really, really the gem of that entire story.
Solving the puzzle.
Yep.
Solving the puzzle. Gee, Dr. Palakia, I've missed you coming in here. It's strange talking to you on the telephone, but I will see you in a couple of weeks? Maybe 2-3 weeks? Physically in here.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
Terrific.
Very good.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Thomas.
Absolutely.
Happy
So
New Year.
absolutely, thank you so much. So if you want any of my absolutely free telehealth programs, just shoot me an email, drp@drpolucki.com, and just in the line in the subject line, what your biggest health challenge is, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Terrific.
Super.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Palakia.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas Parker. Great. That's good job.
Okay, we're
you so
taking a
much.
break now, and we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and when I invented my pillow, I wanted to have everything you'd ever want in a pillow. You can adjust the patented fill to your exact individual needs. You can wash and dry my pillow. It has a 10-year warranty not to go flat, and it's made in the USA. And now, for a limited time, you can get a queen-size premium My Pillow for the lowest price ever. Regularly $69.98, now only $29.98. That's a $40 savings. I'm also giving you deep discounts on all my MyPillow products, including my bed sheets, mattress toppers, and bath towels. Not only are you getting the lowest prices ever, but they make the best Christmas gifts ever. Buy now and I'll extend my 60-day money-back guarantee to March 1st, 2021.
Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
When you look at your child, you see so much. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. A little leader growing to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make the world better. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free TK through 12 charter school provides boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a learning program customized just for your child. Today, that means empowering your child to bring strengths and passions to the distance learning environment. Our approach keeps your child and family in step while online, inspiring your learner to keep growing without missing a beat. At SCVI, your child will find even more ways to grow with projects and activities in STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. With the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, SCVI produces graduates who excel at top universities and in life. For enrollment information or to learn more about our distance learning program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Comfort Keepers provides your loved one with loving in-home care.
Miles McNamara, certified senior advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in-home care.
Our caregivers can help you in your own home, enhancing independence, creating safety and comfort. Our Comfort Keepers provide companionship, meal preparation, medication reminders, assistance with personal care, and even transportation to doctor's appointments. If someone you love can use a helping hand at home, visit comfortkeepers.com.
Or call 287-4200.
Do you change your own motor oil? Did you know used oil is actually hazardous waste and can't be disposed of in the trash like regular old garbage? Fortunately, Santa Clarita has over 20 certified collection centers to properly dispose of used motor oil and filters for free. When you do the right thing, you help keep our city clean. Visit greensantaclarita.com for locations near you. That's greensantaclarita.com. This message is funded by Cal Recycle.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is Jade Aubuchon, and she is with the KHTS News Department.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Welcome,
yes, ma'am.
welcome, Jade.
Whoa.
Happy
Say,
New Year
yes,
to you,
Barbara.
Of course, yes, Barbara.
Barbara. I am a ma'am, but I'd
If
rather
it makes
be
you
a
feel
Barbara.
better, so am I when I teach 6-year-olds. So,
Okay, what are you going to be talking about?
well, what I'm going to talk about is our top 10 most impactful stories of 2020 that we at KHTS covered here in Santa Clarita over the past year.
In our local community.
In our local community.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year, to say the least.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, number 10 comes down to one of our local leaders, Sherry Fleming, passed recently back in, I believe, late November and December. She was a fantastic woman. She helped build up our community into what it is today, and she and her husband actually helped build up Valencia Acura here in Santa Clarita.
Mm-hmm.
She was
But
a
not
wonderful
only
person.
that, not only that, Jade. I mean, she contributed so much to the growth of our community, not just through her business efforts, but also through the social efforts. I think Barbara and I can attest to all the things that she's participated in Santa Clarita and with Don. as well. So a great loss for the community.
Yes, absolutely. And other than Sherry, there have been several others.
Yes,
Pat,
Just a few days ago, we lost Pat Allen.
Pat Allen, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Alan Cameron.
Yes.
Alan Cameron.
I mean,
yeah.
what's happening? These people were bastions of our community.
They
Yeah.
The
really
three
were.
of them were.
They really were. It's been a very tough year in terms of all the people that we've lost, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully 2021 will not be quite as hard for all of us on many fronts there.
Let's hope.
So
Think positive. Yes.
yes, that is exactly the way to do it. So
Exactly.
unfortunately, that does start as our number 10 for the top 10 is all the people that we lost. Number 9, most of this list is going to be a little bit depressing, was the lake fire. The lake fire, although it didn't do much damage to Santa Clarita itself, it completely decimated the Lake Hughes community. At least 12 families lost their homes entirely, including one where one of the families were weeks away from giving birth to a baby. Yes. So that was,
Oh, that gives me chills.
oh yes. Thankfully,
Ooh.
the family made it out alive, but they had a very tough time in building back up at this time. They're still recovering. But
Yeah.
KHTS, we were covering it the whole time, and the smoke and ash and
Oh.
everything covered Santa Clarita
Oh,
for
yes,
several
it
days
did.
there.
It absolutely did. You could barely see out of the car window when you got in
Yeah.
the car. And then walking in it, walking outside, I'd walk it back into the house. All
Yeah.
that muck. Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah, this year's fire season, just statewide, has been absolutely decimating. Thankfully, Santa Clarita itself has avoided most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully. So
Yes.
here's hoping that the next summer will be much the same way and we avoid most of those large wildfires.
Yeah, and the sad part is, Jade, that this fire season continues right now because we just haven't had enough rain at all to cover this. So, it's going to persist.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, let's hope January, February, and March will bring us some rain.
Yep.
Let's hope. March winds, April showers bring forth May flowers.
That's right.
There we are. Have to think positive, right, Jean?
All right. And coming in at number 8, City Councilman Bob Keller finally retired this year after so long, 20 years on the city council.
Years, yes.
That is quite a lot of time. So there's a better reason to be retiring right there. He is still alive, he is still kicking, and hopefully will be for some time.
Absolutely. You cannot keep him down, no matter
Yeah.
what. Thank goodness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going from the U.S. Army to the Los Angeles Police Department and then going into reserve officer training over at the Police Academy before coming up here. And he spent so much of his public career in public service just building up the community, as we've really seen.
Absolutely. One of our
And,
best.
And just to point out as well with Bob, I talked with him the other day, and because I was a little concerned when I heard that his East Santa Clarita office, Coco's, would be closing. So I think he was trying to find another place. But, once again, there have been individuals in our community like Bob who have risen up and made sure that citizens had great quality of life. And if not for Bob and his 20 years, the direction of city council may have been a little different. But there's no doubt that with Bob being there, he pushed our city in the right direction so that we could survive the fires and earthquakes and everything else that takes place in our valley, and bringing a positiveness to the school system, the politics, the hospital. All of that has improved because of Bob Keller and his 20 years serving on our city council. So, it's 20 years, and then Bob retired, but it was, just great working with him and all the things, especially, Barbara, what he gave to the seniors in Santa Clarita.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
so, we proudly, bow our heads and say thank you, Bob, for the 20 years of service and more to our community.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the main big things that he did in terms of Santa Clarita's development in general would have been the fight against Cemex, I believe.
Yes.
That was very impressive, which for people who don't know, that was a very large gravel and cement making excavation project that would have taken place here in Santa Clarita that would have absolutely decimated some of the natural areas, the traffic in the area, our air quality. So that was a very big fight that Bob Keller and several of our other council members led the fight on.
And that fight is still going on, too, unfortunately.
Not yet over, but we're on a better place.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Number 7 is the city of Santa Clarita purchased the Valencia ice station. So for those of you who don't know, that was the local ice skating rink here in the area. It was independent for many, many, many years. But after a certain amount of time, unfortunately, due to the COVID shutdown, we ended up having to close. And the city of Santa Clarita bought it themselves and are hoping to either revive it or bring it back to the community in some form or another.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Yeah, and connected to that was actually the community created a whole organization and parade in order to save the rink and make that happen. Now, also connected to that was COVID has shut down a lot of our entertainment centers, such as Mount Asia. Mount Asia actually ended up having to be sold recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I did do is I took the ride through Magic Mountain.
Oh.
It was
the lights.
Yes, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And the line, when we got in there at 8:30, right as it opened, and we got in 2 or 3 minutes. But when we came out, the line of cars was so long you couldn't see the end of it.
Wow.
So that's why when I talked to my daughter and my son, I said, if you're coming up here or coming down here from Palmdale, I said, come in here early if you're going to see it. Otherwise, you're going to be in line forever. But it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always nice with the way this last year has been, to be able to actually go out and do things in a way that's safe and to be able to get that beautiful feeling of the holiday season without getting out with too many other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to skip through a couple here because we do have, unfortunately, a lot of local businesses that shut down. One of our major stories in the last year was the 1-year anniversary of the Saugus High School shooting. Yes.
I know. I read that in the newspaper. I couldn't believe that it had been a year already.
From November 14th to November 14th. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's been a very interesting year for all the students that we've talked to. It's been a very difficult year for them, going from the shooting to winter break to the spring semester to the shutdown of the spring semester and essentially going into triage, where so many of them weren't even really able to learn because although the district and the teachers did very well, there was a lot of unknowns that they had to deal with. And thankfully, although the fall semester did turn out better, there's going to be a lot of healing involved.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And it's been a shame that students have had to be in school at home.
Yes.
It's not good. Kids need socialization.
Yes, absolutely.
They need to talk with each other one-on-one, hold each other's hands, everything that keeps people alive. And they have not been able to do that.
Yeah, and that actually takes us to our number one story. What could our number one story really be for this year if it was anything but COVID?
COVID.
It has touched every part of our lives.
Yeah.
Yes, it has. And I think we need to take a break, don't we? Yes, we'll be back in a few minutes. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS.
If you need help at home or at the office, call Made For You. Made For You is a locally owned, bonded, and licensed cleaning service with over 20 years of experience. All employees are vetted for your protection. No need to buy products or expensive equipment. The Made For You staff comes complete with everything needed to make your home or office cleaner than ever. Hire Made For You one time, as needed, or on an ongoing basis. No room is off limits. Laundry and ironing services are also available. Call Made For You for a free estimate today. 255-2922. That's 255-2922.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
Introducing Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's second luxury senior living community in Santa Clarita. At Oakmont of Valencia, you'll have access to full-time assisted living services provided by compassionate staff in the privacy of your own home. Oakmont's Diabetic Wellness Program offers assistance with monitoring and managing glucose levels, meals, exercise, and activities. Oakmont of Valencia offers a fully equipped wellness center and concierge medical program, allowing outside physicians to visit on site. Discover the care your loved ones deserve in a resort-style setting. Visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
When you hire a CPA firm or tax preparer, you want a firm with people who understand you, your business and industry, and participates in your local community. You need a firm that has long-standing, successful professional relationships around Southern California with attorneys, bankers, and other CPA firms who can provide additional help to your personal and business needs. Denny & Company, LLP. CPAs that make life less taxing. Call 286-8860, 286-8860.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker has been ranked the 15th most influential person in the entire Santa Clarita Valley in 2010 by the Santa Clarita Valley Business Journal. When everything is on the line, call the Hacker Law Group.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS. And we're speaking with Jade Aubuchon of the KHTS News Department. And we have gone through, what, 7 of the top 10?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue with the third, second, and first.
All right, so November 2020. What an exciting time to live in, for better or worse. So we had a very long, drawn-out election process for our local area where it actually came down to only a couple of hundred of votes for a couple of our local elections. That was wild, to say the least.
Yeah, and I think that federally, the House of Representatives, plus we had second and third for City Council, remember? So between second and third were maybe a few hundred votes. So, that the voting, though, you have to be impressed with democracy, though, you guys, because people came out and voted. And that's the important part of the country that we live in, that if you feel that something is wrong, you have a right and a voice to say it by your vote. And people didn't give up this time. They came out. And we might all disagree in different directions, but ultimately we come to the same level of agreement so we can all move forward. And I think we're finding that to be happening even right now. So voting is key and important, and our seniors did come out this year, and I was thankful that they participated like they always have done.
Yes.
So I was happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just double checked, and for our local congressional election, it came down to 333 vote difference.
Yep.
Yeah, so if anybody ever tells you that your vote does not count, it definitely counted.
Oh, yes.
Definitely counted.
Absolutely. And I'm glad with the way it went.
Yeah.
All right, and another one of our top stories from this year was actually a series of stories based on the protests that took place over the summer this year, which, actually started over the Memorial Day weekend with the death of George Floyd, and it was that Saturday when we start having small protests here in Santa Clarita. But over the next couple of weeks, they would grow larger and larger to the point
Mm-hmm.
where at one point even the National Guard was posted here.
But Jade, peaceful,
Exactly.
peaceful.
As
People
opposed to so many
respected-
of them that
We-
haven't
Yeah.
been peaceful.
We were
but
incredibly lucky.
respectful.
We were.
No, respectful. This is who we are as a community.
Mhm.
You know, we know that everybody sits in different places in life, but they're willing to listen to other people's voices and respect that. And so I was very proud of the reaction of everybody in our community for what they did.
Can
So,
you imagine what it would have been like to have been some of those other areas with
Yeah,
with
but this
people
is Santa Clarita.
bashing windows of businesses and totally destroying businesses?
Mhm.
Right, but not here.
No,
here,
not
Barbara.
here.
It was, and that's
I
what
know.
I'm saying. That's who we are. KHTS, is in Santa Clarita, and the senior hour we're presenting from Santa Clarita. So I'm very proud of the discussions and the conversations that have taken place that authentically bring out the ideals of others and the criticisms of others. So let that be. I mean, that's what, once again, how we are as a nation, and we've demonstrated that here in our local community. So I'm proud of everybody.
Okay, what's number one?
Well, naturally, number one is COVID, but how long do we really want to talk about that?
No, we don't.
So another very big story that we had here in Santa Clarita that actually went viral was a confrontation between a local bar owner of Burgies in Canyon Country next to a La Palma fruit vendor off of San Canyon.
Yeah. That was very sad.
It was very sad, and I'm not going to quote the video considering it had to be bleeped out in the first place, but it was not polite, to say the least, but it did result actually in something good coming out of it. The community rallied around the man who was involved, and there were lines, hundreds of people long, waiting to buy fruit from him after the incident. So even though the initial incident was not good or not kind, at the end of the day, it did bring forth something good in our community.
Yeah. The spirit of Santa Clarita once again showing through. So listen, I'm very, thank you, Jade, for, bringing all these topics up. I wanted, with the really lightly, we have just a few more minutes, but, I just wanted to bring up one part of the senior center has been open. The new senior center has been open for over a year, but closed because of the pandemic. But they are still serving this community and the seniors in this community. We make at the senior center 1,200 meals every weekday, 1,200.
Yes.
And distribute them up in the Antelope Valley as well as Santa Clarita through Meals on Wheels, through staff and volunteers delivering them. We have kept people in tune online with activities, providing concerts, movies, comedy shows, bingo. These are all the things that, have allowed our seniors to continue to thrive. And we have to be proud of that. And, being on a positive note, some of the 10 things, big news items, we're negative, but as we've talked about the positive things, how we rise to the spirit of the community, how people have participated and helped this community for 20 years rise up and longer to be well. And then, we honor them for the things they've done and, emotionally shed a tear for them when they leave this world. But there's so many good things that have occurred here and will continue to take place even in 2021. So I'm very proud of what we have done. I'm very proud of Barbara and her 68 jigsaw puzzles that she has completed. These are all the things that, we have had to do during a pandemic to keep ourselves going, to keep our community going, to help businesses move ahead. So, yeah, there's some negative things, and there will be now negative things in 2021 that we'll talk about. But if we think of the positive things, we will
Absolutely.
do better, and that's what we have to do. And
Absolutely.
Jay, thank you for being on
Yes.
our show today and providing the top 10 stories. But there are very positive, many positive stories in that, Jade. And thank you for providing that. We appreciate it.
Yes,
And
thank you, Jade.
Thank you.
happy,
And her
happy New Year to
beautiful,
you.
beautiful kitty cat shirt.
Right.
I'm
We are
jealous.
sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care, Santa Clarita Hearing Center, Traditions Home Health and Hospice. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.
p.m. and a special weekend edition on